Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to go through a simple chair yoga practice. So this is really nice for anyone who maybe has poor balance or is at work, if you're unable to stand and take a break, or on an airplane. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So we're gonna plant the feet firmly. You might need to place a blanket or some blocks underneath your feet to get your feet to reach the ground. And we're gonna do this chair yoga practice with a chair with no arms. So if you have a chair with arms and that's all you have, that's okay. But some of the poses that we're gonna practice require access to the side of the chair. I also have 2 blocks, one on either side in case I'm gonna want those later. And then I'm sitting up on a blanket just to make my chair a little bit more comfortable for me. But you can sit on whatever chair feels good for you. Feet flat on the ground, knees and hips about 90 degrees. And I'm not leaning on the back of my chair. If your chair doesn't have a back, that's okay. And we'll start to sit up nice and tall, relaxing the shoulders down, allowing your arms to rest wherever feels comfortable for you. Maybe set an intention for your practice. Breathing into the belly, breathing into the chest. And we'll slide the hands onto the knees. And we're gonna move into a seated cat-cow. So as we inhale, we're gonna lift the chest, arch the spine, maybe take your gaze up towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, we're gonna curl the spine, rounding it towards the back of the chair, releasing the head down. Finding length through the front of the body as we inhale. And finding length through the back of the body as we exhale. And you can make this movement as big or as small as feels comfortable in your body. If moving the neck doesn't feel good, then you can just keep a neutral neck and focus on moving the low and mid back. Then we'll find a neutral spine. We're going to grab the bottom of the chair on one side and inhale to reach the opposite arm all the way up. And exhale to reach over towards the side, breathing into the side of the body, maybe taking our gaze up towards the sky. Really focus on pressing down through the feet and the pelvis. Breathing into the rib cage. And as we inhale, we'll come all the way back up. We're gonna grab the bottom of the other side of the chair. And when you're ready, we'll inhale to reach the opposite arm all the way up towards the sky and over to the side. Notice if this side feels different. And exhale to come all the way back up. This time we'll inhale to reach both arms all the way up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we'll take a twist over to the right. So I'm going to place my left palm on the knee, and then I'm using my back arm to rest on the back of the chair. Just kind of finding where I meet resistance and breathing. Maybe taking the gaze back towards that back shoulder, the back wall. We're not forcing anything. Taking nice deep breaths into the belly. Maybe noticing some sensations in the neck. And as we exhale, we'll come all the way back through center. We'll inhale the arms all the way up towards the sky. And exhale to take it over to the other side. Again, breathing into the belly and just noticing how this side feels. maybe taking the gaze back if that feels good in the neck. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. And exhaling to come back to the front. We'll inhale to reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. And this time we'll exhale to take it forward. So you can use your blocks here. If you need to rest your hands on an elevated surface, you can bring your feet a little bit wider. Maybe scoot forward if that feels a little bit more accessible in the hips. You can also release the fingers down to the ground if that's accessible to you. Releasing the head down, finding a rounding through the low back. And we're going to think about grounding the pelvis into the seat of the chair. So not letting the hips kind of lift up. You can shake your head a little side to side. And then we'll slowly walk the hands up, either using the blocks or just bringing the hands onto the thighs and stacking the spine. So from here, we're going to move into a little warrior variation. So I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. I'm just going to place them kind of behind me so they're easily accessible. And we're going to start to turn our body into a lunge variation. So my left thigh is fully supported by the chair. My right thigh is going to drop down. You can hold on to this side here, and then you can adjust if you need to. And then you can leave your leg here where it is, or you can find a little bit of extension. It doesn't have to fully straighten out. And I really want you to pay attention to what happens in your spine. So if extending the back knee makes you kind of come into this arched position, then feel free to straighten that or bend that back knee a little bit so that you can find a neutral pelvis. So the balls of my feet are on the ground. I'm feeling a stretch in the front of my right hip. You can keep your hands on your hips, or you can inhale to reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. Breathing into the lower belly, the front of the hip, shoulders are relaxed. And then as we exhale, we're going to slowly shift forward. And then we're just going to take it over to the other side. So I'm going to bring my right thigh fully onto the chair. And then I'll start by just dropping down my left knee and seeing how that feels here. Maybe adjusting over a little bit. And then when you're ready, we'll extend that leg out and kind of play with what feels good in the back of the leg, front of the hip, and the pelvis. So a little bit of a knee bend, especially since I'm practicing in the morning. We're still kind of in the beginning of our practice. Inhaling to reach the arms up if that's feels okay in your shoulders. Thumbs pointing back, pinkies forward. And you can make your arms as wide as feels comfortable. I usually keep mine at least shoulder width apart. Breathing into the quad, the hip flexors. You can even take your gaze up towards the ceiling. One more deep breath here. And then we'll slowly bring the legs back to the front. And this time, we're going to bring the legs into a wide kind of squat. So the toes are pointing out. And again, you can make this as wide or as narrow as it feels comfortable in your hips and your pelvis. Sorry, my eye is itchy. And we'll bring the hands onto the knees. And then again, just pay attention to the position of your pelvis. If you find you're sticking your butt out, see if you can use those abdominals to pull the pelvis directly underneath you so that your head, your heart, and your hips are stacked on top of each other. You can bring your hands onto your hips. So I'm really actively pressing my knees back towards the back of the chair, activating the outer hips. I'm finding a little bit of a shake here. You might feel a stretch in the inner thighs. So an active goddess pose supported by the chair. We'll inhale to reach the arms all the way up towards the sky. And exhale to release the arms down. Again, inhale, reaching the arms all the way up towards the sky. And exhale. One more time, inhale, take up space here. And exhale. We'll slowly use the hands to bring the knees back to center. And this time, we're going to scoot to the edge of the chair, bringing the knees together. We're really going to squeeze the ankles and the inner thighs together. From here, we're going to take a forward bend. So let me turn just so you can see what I'm doing here. So knees are together. We're going to start to bring the chest forward using the hips as opposed to the spine. So instead of kind of arching, you're going to bring the chest forward. You're going to feel your abdominals turn on a little bit. So squeezing the legs together, using the abdominals to support the spine. You can bring your hands to your chest, or you can reach your arms either in front of you, so parallel to the ground, or beside the ears. So again, from the side, we're here, or we're here. So we're finding some extension in the upper back, low back stays neutral, legs are working hard here. We'll take a few breaths. And we'll bring the hands to the heart if they aren't already. And then we'll take the elbow over to the outer edge of the knee for a twist. So this is a chair variation. If that's a little too much for you, you're welcome to stay up here and rotate in that way. Maybe you can hook your elbow. But again, we're not forcing anything. We're just noticing where our body is today. Breathing into the belly. We'll make our way back through center and then over to the other side. On an exhale. Relaxing the shoulders, keeping the face nice and soft. Finding expansion through the rib cage as we inhale. And come back through center. So I'm going to come to stand and I'll show you what this looks like from the back, but I'm going to start from the front. So I'm going to move my chair forward. So the back two corners are on the chair to a wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to bring my feet a little bit wider than my hips, and you can take it wider if that feels good to you. Your toes are going to face forward. And then from here, we're going to practice that same forward bend that we just took in our modified chair. And then you can bring your hands to your chair. If you feel like you can go a little bit further, you can use your blocks on the ground, or you can use blocks on chair, or you can just use the seat of your chair. So you have a lot of options, really meeting you where you are. breathing into the back of the legs. And we're slowly going to start to take it from one side to the other. So keeping one knee straight and allowing the other knee to bend, finding some length through the inner thigh. And then slowly moving back and forth for a modified skandasana. So again, you can be with blocks on the ground. You can be holding onto the back of the chair. Just continuing to take nice deep breaths. Gaze can be straight down towards the ground or maybe a few inches in front of you. You might even feel some sensation in the ankle, the calves. And then we'll slowly bring the hands to the hips and rise all the way back up. You can bring your feet together here. So we're going to practice a little bit of balance. So we're going to use the chair, and we're slowly, so you can keep your hands on the chair if you need to, or you can keep your hands down for now and kind of use the chair as needed. So we're slowly going to start to shift. So my feet are about hip width apart. You can bring them closer together. That will make it a little bit more challenging. If your feet are touching arch to arch, you can just stay here and practice if that's challenging for you. But if you want to practice standing on one leg, then we're going to start to shift the weight from left foot to right foot. And then maybe the next time you're on one side, you'll slowly start to lift the heel and play with balancing on one leg and the toe or the ball of the foot. Using the chair as much as you need to. Eventually, maybe you can lift the knee. So we're just moving with control. You might even be able to let go of the chair. If you can, then we'll bring the hands to the hips, to the heart. If you really want to challenge yourself, you can bring your hands up for a standing one-legged Tadasana. When you're done playing with your balance, we'll bring the feet together. We'll bring the hands to the heart center. I'll take a few cleansing breaths here. We'll bring the chair back onto the mat. If you've moved it, you're welcome to walk around your chair. If it's a heavier chair, something that you can't move around. And we are going to work on some hip mobility. It's cold, so I like the blanket. So we have a couple options. So option one is we're gonna cross one leg over the other, and then we're gonna hug that knee towards our chest. Keeping a little bit of activation in the toe. You're welcome to lean onto the back of the chair, or you're just sitting up nice and tall, breathing into the outer hip here. Shoulders are relaxed. And then keeping the toes nice and active, you might be able to come into a figure four. So you can stay here and press the knee down towards the ground. If this is too much for you, you're welcome to stay here. And we'll slowly uncross the leg, using the arm if you need to, and then we'll switch to the other side. So crossing the legs, and then maybe hugging the knee towards the chest, activating the toes just a little bit, maybe leaning back onto the back of the chair, just noticing how this side feels. You're almost done with your practice. Maybe taking it into a figure four on this side and noticing if this side feels different. Staying here, or maybe pressing gently down towards the ground. And we'll gently uncross the legs. We'll find a comfortable seat. We'll bring the hands to rest on your lap. Palms can face down, or maybe cupping the hands. Palms facing up. We'll take one final moment to notice how you feel here. Bring the hands up to heart center. Taking a moment of gratitude for showing up and checking in with the body. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Enjoy the rest of your week or your weekend. It's Friday today when I'm filming this. We'll bring the hands up to the third eye and bow towards each other. Namaste.